How many of you have never been to the mayor's house before? And then you still haven't, because I don't live here. But if you would like to live here, there's a competition being held in November. You're welcome to try. All you need to do is convince something like 800,000 New Yorkers that this should be your house, and you can. But actually, this is your house, because if you live in the city, you own roughly 1/8 of it. And so you can't leave today until all the dishes are done. We have some city officials here that I just wanted to mention. Hopefully I got all of them. Salvador Casano, our fire commissioner. Terrence Holliday, he is our Veterans Affairs Commissioner. Yolanda Jimenez, she is the Commissioner Against Domestic Violence. Kate Levin, who's hiding in plain sight in the door, our Cultural Affairs Commissioner. My vice-alcaldesa, Carol Robles Roman. There's Carol right in the middle. And yes, you're right, they shouldn't have run that story in the paper that you sent me an email about. Fatima Sharma, our Immigrant Affairs Commissioner. And Wells Handy, who runs DCAS, which does all the facility stuff. And I'm told here, Matthew Eugene, Matthew, are you here someplace? Well, I think he's here. And we have Dennis Walcott, our Chancellor, who just walked in. A little bit late, Dennis, but that's okay. Let me kick off this event by demonstrating my skills in some of the more than 200 languages spoken in our city. Where we come up with the number 200, I have absolutely no idea. It is like the 2 million people that we have in Times Square at New Year's Eve. If you took a picture of a block full of people with a file laying down, which we have, and took a microscope and counted the number of people, we would have to have 1,000 blocks. But it's 2 million people, we say, so we're going to say 200 languages. And in that spirit, let me say Dzień dobry, namaskar, tolofa. And if you didn't know, that is hello in Polish, Bengali, and Samoan. My Samoan is iffy. If you did that already, then maybe you did know those. Maybe you should run for mayor. Anyways, at the outset, let me acknowledge something that's in the front of all of minds, and that's the tragic attack in Boston this Monday. I know I speak for everyone here when I say that our thoughts and prayers are with the people in that city, and especially those who are victims of the attacks and their families. I grew up just outside of Boston in Bedford, Massachusetts, and one of the 3 people who were killed came from Bedford, Massachusetts. Let us not forget that that attack in Boston happened on what in Massachusetts is called Patriots' Day. It is every year they celebrate the ride of Paul Revere, and it celebrates the very freedoms that draw millions to our country in search of a better life, and that makes New Yorkers from every corner of the world proud to be called Americans, and we certainly stand in solidarity with Boston this week, and will continue working to build an America of tolerance and mutual respect. And that's the kind of country that you or your ancestors and my ancestors we think came from Belarus and Lithuania, but there's no ways to really know. If that suits you, that's fine. That's where it came from. When they set out from their homelands to follow a dream, they came here and they helped build our country. And those who were born here, I think, don't have an understanding, probably never even thought about it. What would it take to get you to leave your family, your friends, your belongings, your culture, your religion, your language, your food, everything you know, everything you've learned all your life, and go someplace far away that's strange and you don't know what's the truth or you read about it and that sort of thing. It takes a lot of guts to pick up and move. And yet, for the last 400 years, I guess, since Columbus, or since Henry Van Dyke sailed up the Hudson River, we've had people doing that. And they've made this, it's not a perfect country, but it's certainly, I would argue, is the most tolerant, open, and country of opportunity that there is in the world. And I couldn't be more proud of it. Some days I'm annoyed at what we do. We need good immigration laws. This is Shugana, as we say in Gaelic. Our gun laws are a disgrace. We don't do a lot of things well on one side. On the other hand, every place has problems, and on balance, I think we probably do a lot better than any place else. At least I'm here and I'm staying here. We have to keep working to give more immigrants the opportunity to come to the country, and particularly to come here to New York City, because that is what we're celebrating today, our incredible diverse heritage. But it's also the reason that New York is the city in the world to live in. It's the city of opportunity. It's the city of tolerance. And just got to make sure that we keep it that way. And the ways to do that is by constantly having new blood coming from different cultures. They add to our cuisine, and our religions, and our language, and our clothing, and how we live. And when you go down the steps to the subway every day, and people next to you look different, sound different, smell different, behave differently, they just become neighbors. And that's the great strength of New York. We are a mixing pot. When you force people to live together, they find that strangers aren't threatening. They just start accepting. And pretty soon they strike up friendships. And that's how this country has grown. Make no mistake, it's really true that immigrants who built this country are the future of this country. And that's why our administration has been a leading voice in the effort to fix America's broken immigration system. There may be some good news to celebrate in Washington. I'll believe it when I see it. After years of political gridlock for reaching bipartisan immigration bill finally introduced in Washington. The bill isn't perfect, but it is better than what we have now. It would open the doors of opportunity to millions of hardworking people that would boost our economy and would strengthen our communities. And I'm hopeful that it'll be passed. Then, of course, you have to go to the House and get it passed there. So we're a long ways from really having a solution, and it doesn't do everything we need. But at least they're talking about it. At least they're going in the right direction, which either are good or not. At the same time, we need to keep giving, working to give opportunities to the children of our immigrants. Right now, there are just thousands of young New Yorkers who are being denied financial aid for college simply because they're the immigration status of their parents and then they're brought here. It's not fair to them, but it's really stupid for our country. These are the best and the brightest. These are the kids that are winning the next Nobel Prize and create the next industry here and create the jobs that we've been from day one leading the charge to pass the New York State DREAM Act and also DREAM Act in Washington. It's the right thing to do, and we've just got to make sure that we have it, get it done. It's fascinating when you listen to some of the crazies who say, oh, that person, they broke the law. They were 3 months old when their parents carried them into this country. I know you can't come in if you don't have papers, but let's get serious. Any rational definition of breaking the law does not include a 3-month-old. Anyways, it's only fitting our city should lead the way in immigration reform. The Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, which organizes this breakfast and the events of the Heritage Week, was the first of its kind. It's a model for other cities worldwide. You don't have to take my word for it. You just have to ask our fantastic Immigrant Affairs Commissioner, who is with us today. She just got back from Italy, where she was invited to meet with local leaders to discuss how they could better serve their city's immigrant communities. And she's done the same thing in countries with thriving immigrant communities like Germany and Belgium. Next week, the team will also lead a summit of mayors from around the nation right here in New York. They're coming to learn more about the steps we've taken to make the most immigrant-friendly city in the world immigrant-friendly, and to share ideas on how to turn their own immigrant communities and make them succeed. While she was gallivanting around the world, I was staying here in the 5 boroughs. I don't know who won, but I think I did. Anyway, continue shop.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just going to welcome all of you and say good morning.
Good morning.
And I too am going to show off a little this morning and say buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Bom dia. Sabah al-khair. Bonjour. And buongiorno. I missed a bunch, right?
Okay, now I got to tell you, it really is. I keep studying Spanish. My mother, before she died, said to me, why are you doing that? You're having to learn not to speak English. The best I could do is claim 1 1/3 languages. How many languages do you speak? 6? Fluent. Really